Ladies and gentlemen, your boy C Jax is on vacation, but if you thought that we were actually going to skip a garbage Smackdown review, your boy is still here. Now, I'm going to say something that I haven't said in a long time, and this is actually a massive compliment. This Smackdown was not atrocious, okay? It was not atrocious. I'm going to be honest with you guys. We have to, because here's the thing. When the product has been absolutely atrocious, like it's been for a whole year and a half at this point, okay? We also have to be balanced when it actually is okay. Now, this Smackdown I don't think was that good, in my personal opinion. I still expect better quality than this, but you can clearly tell this is a noticeable effort and creativity improvement than the crap that we've been getting for the last year and a half, okay? As per usual, like I've been saying the last couple days, the last couple posts, I should say, this is going to be a more lower edited video, you know what I'm saying? But either way, we still going to be delivering this to you, okay? Now, let's go ahead and start off with what started the show. Dr. Libations, Codarius Rodington comes out, okay? He's got the all-blue suit on, and he's basically doing what he does best, and that's say a whole lot of nothing, okay? You know what I'm saying? He comes out there and basically says, I have love, I have care, I have respect for those who can pick up in my place. WWE has assembled a super team of legends. And then he lists like Rhea Ripley and like Roman Reigns and I think like CM Punk or some other people as well. And so that was that. He always has to pay homage and respect to everybody. So there you have that, okay? He basically says that he's Seth Rollins' Achilles heel and that Rollins doesn't have what it takes to beat him. And, that's basically the moral of the story. It's the same thing. The promo kind of went off the rails. The crowd was chanting like things at Seth Rollins. So that was pretty cool, I guess. And that's basically the situation with that. Codarius doesn't do a lot. Let's just move on to the next thing. There was a backstage segment with Stephanie Vaquer and Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green's trying to recruit Stephanie Vaquer to the Secret Service, which, honestly, this is a cool backstage segment. I kind of like this because, obviously, Stephanie's probably not going to join, but just seeing her interact with a comedic, like kind of diva-era type character like Chelsea Green, I thought was kind of cool. Tiffany Stratton then walks up backstage, and then Chelsea just walks away, and then that, sets up their match they're going to have later with Tiffany and Stephanie versus Julia and Kiana James. We then move on to a backstage segment again where Jacob Fatu is eyeing up Codarius Rodington's WWE Championship, all right? Now, I will say this, because of the fact that SmackDown last week had the lowest rating in SmackDown history with like 1,030,000 viewers, basically, you know what I'm saying? They obviously had to put more effort into this show. So you're going to see things like storylines and actual effort and, potential quality, you know what I'm saying? Things being actually set up. So I do appreciate the fact, I love the fact that Jacob Fatu, you know what I'm saying? Jacoby Fatu is out there basically talking to Cody backstage about how he's coming for that championship next after he's done with Seth at Crown Jewel, okay? So all gas, no breaks with it. He says that. Drew McIntyre then attacks him backstage, setting up a match between them two for next week. Jacob Fatu cut a backstage little segment with Nick Aldis later in the night to confirm the match, and he was pretty impassionate in it, so that was pretty cool. It's very obvious that even though this show, because let's not get mistaken here, guys. I know what WWE does. They give you a bunch of garbage, and then something's like, below mid, but below mid is obviously better than awful, so, people are going to overreact. But I will say, this episode is only okay at best. It's not even okay. This episode is like below mid. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's below mid, and we'll talk about it later, but it's a below mid episode. But below mid is an improvement from awful. You get what I mean? So obviously, because SmackDown had the lowest rating ever last week, Triple Fraud finally had to step his game up and actually show some creativity and a little bit of effort into anything inside of this show, setting up new storylines and doing something unique, rather than us getting some of the, we still got some of the similar formulaic and garbage segments and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it was a little bit more palatable of an episode this week than it's been for the last, however many months at this point. So I'll take it. But just know that this is done out of desperation. This wasn't done out of care and creativity, and he's doing this to actually put what's best forth for the fans necessarily. It's really done out of the fact that it's desperation. They got the lowest rating ever, so Triple Fraud had to do something a little bit different. I will say as well, it's kind of unfortunate that people like Roman Reigns, I think CM Punk's there, probably LA Knight, Jey Uso, all the people who are likely going to be there this weekend for Crown Jewel, just never show up on the SmackDown before the show. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, but hey, I don't know what to say about it. I just wish more stars showed up. This episode could have been a bit better if you had some of that, other star power and developed some other stories like Roman and Brunson, for example. But we got what we got. It is what it is. We then got the return of Shinsuke Nakamura. Okay, Shinsuke Nakamura accepted Sami Zayn's open challenge, obviously, for the United States Championship. Obviously, Shinsuke didn't win the match. Sami Zayn retains, of course. However, after the match, the MFTs returned and Tama Tonga, Mr. Yay. You know what I'm saying? Tama Tonga is officially back. He's looking jacked. He comes out there, and basically the MFT now have a bunch of face paint on and stuff. They actually look like diabolical, villain-esque, like a villain-esque faction, okay? This might potentially work. We're going to see how this plays out, but, having people like Tama Tonga and Tala Tonga and Tonga Donga and the Bamba Damba and Lamba Damba, they actually are able to help out. Also, we have Jefferson Cobbithan, you know what I'm saying? Jeff Corner Cobb, Jefferson Cobb. That dude basically goes out there and the MFT show up to confront, Sami Zayn, okay? We then get Tiffany Stratton and Stephanie Vaquer versus Julia and Kiana James. Obviously, Stephanie and Tiffany won the match. There's really not much to say about this here. Stephanie hit her, whatever it's called, the devil's kiss thing, and the crowd was chanting one more time. So, I mean, hey, man, the goons are out and they're in full effect. It is what it is. But Stephanie's super over now, so that's pretty cool to see. We'll see what happens with the Crown Jewel match. I'm assuming Stephanie Vaquer is going to get that W. So we'll just have to see what happens with that. We then move on, and I think next was the tag match between the Street Profits and the Wyatt Six. Thank God, as the New Day would say, you know what I'm saying, that the Street Profits have their OG theme back, man. It's better for faces. It's better to get the crowd jumping and get the crowd moving. I'm not sure if they're abandoning the Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, like the turning away from each other, you know what I'm saying, them going on their separate arcs, but if they're not abandoning it, I'm okay with that, I guess, but at least they have their old theme back so they can actually start to get things going again, you know what I'm saying, get it popping like the Street Profits normally do. This match was pretty decent. I mean, nothing really crazy about it. We've seen this before, so nothing really special to say about it. The Wyatt Six do end up retaining, and afterwards they're confronted by the MFTs, so it looks like we're going to be doing a little bit of MFT versus Wyatt Six action in the near future, so there's actually some decent story elements to pull out with this. I will say, the Wyatt Six, I still cannot stand them. They're boring, they're annoying, and they're absolute jobbers, okay? Nothing about them is interesting to me anymore, and the crowd pretty much feels the same way if we're just judging off the reactions they've given to them over the last, year or so. So I'm pretty much done with this faction. Maybe they can build a good story out of it, but at least they're trying. Again, trying does not mean that it's good, but at least it's better than 0 out of 10. I'd rather have a 2 out of 10 than a 0 out of 10, if you get what I mean. So that's basically the situation with that. We then move on. There was a couple backstage segments, I believe. The Miz cut a promo basically saying that Carmelo Hayes finally missed, and he missed out because the Miz is the real star, so Melo and Miz are going to continue to feud. And then we had Charlotte and Alexa Bliss backstage with Zaruka, you know what I'm saying, Soruka and Zarya, basically setting up a women's tag team championship match between those two teams. So I'm actually looking forward to that match. It should be pretty entertaining, and it should be pretty cool to see some NXT talent versus some main roster talent, so that's nice. And then we get to the main event, I believe, which was, I think it was D-Lister Black versus Damian Priest. I'm going to be honest, guys. This match is actually pretty solid, all right? Now, it had a very creative finish because, let's be honest, there's nothing to break down in between the rest of this. We've seen these guys fight like 15 times, so there's really nothing special. The in-ring physicality, I thought, was pretty solid. You know, both of these guys are good in-ring performers, so, you know, it's pretty expected. But we get to the actual main event, and, of course, we have to see this ending here. Zelina Vega comes out because, you know, her and D-Lister Black are obviously married, like, actually, you know, off camera in real life, obviously, okay? Zelina Vega comes out and tries to, like, protect her husband, basically saying, no, Damian, you can't do this, you can't do this. And Damian Priest, like, pauses and just looks at her, you know what I'm saying, as she's trying to protect him, and then she finally leaves away because D-Lister say, he's like, no, I'll be fine, babe, I'll be fine, whatever. And then Damian Priest goes for the South of Heaven to put him through these tables. In the crowd is where this brawl is happening, okay? D-Lister Black pulls out a full-on fireball, mini fireball, lights it in Damian Priest's face and, like, stuns him, and, like, I guess in storyline burned his face or whatever. And then he black mass kicks him, and Damian Priest falls through 2 tables on the outside in the arena. This was sick. This was absolutely awesome. I haven't seen anything this awesome in, like, a match that's a no DQ type match since, like, what we saw, you know, in moments of the Cena and Cody match, and then obviously last year with the last Monster Standing with Brunson Reed and Braun Strowman when they were feuding for those couple months, and Brunson Reed, like, tsunami'd Braun Strowman through a car. Like, this was just sick. This brings back those hardcore vibes of wrestling, you know what I'm saying, from back in the day. So I thought this was awesome. D-Lister Black ends up going over here, and he's teaming with Zelina Vega, I guess, from now on with the mixed tag situation. So I assume that Lola Vice, who I think is dating Damian Priest in real life, I guess she's going to get called up from NXT temporarily to maybe do a mixed tag team feud. This provides some life and gives them something new to do in the mid-card, so I'm okay with it. Overall, if we're being honest with ourselves, this is a noticeable improvement on SmackDown. I will tell you this This SmackDown, like I said, though, was not that good. Okay, there's still certain things that we have to acknowledge. Nobody cares about the MFT, even though they're putting an effort to try and get them more over and make them menacing. Nobody cares about the MFT. Okay, nobody cares about the Wyatt Jobbers, and quite frankly, nobody cares about the Street Profits. You know what I'm saying? The tag match with Tiffany and Stephanie Vaquer, two faces teaming with each other before they fight tomorrow. Cody Rhodes has nothing to say, but that's just a part of the show at this point. And then Drew and Jacob Fatu, that seems like something that could be interesting. Maybe a triple threat between those two and Darius Rodington for the WWE title at the next Saturday Night Main Event in a few weeks. But either way you look at it, this is not a good episode of SmackDown. But isn't it an improvement? Yes. So even though I can't fully rage and yell, we still have to show some respect where it's due. This episode is not going to get a 1 out of 10. It's not going to get a 2 or a 3 or a 0 out of 10. I think I'm comfortable giving this a 4 or a 5 out of 10. This is like a little bit lower than what the average quality of SmackDown needs to be. At the bare minimum, SmackDown should be a 6 to 7 each week. 6, 7! You know what I'm saying? It needs to be a 6 to 7 out of 10 every week at the bare minimum. This is like a 5, so it's a little bit below that, but at least we're getting closer to being average. I would say this show is below mid, not good, not terrible, but closer to being, below average and mediocre than it was to being good. So that's the thing. But hopefully things can improve, and because the ratings have fallen so low, Triple Fraud finally had to fight back in in making this show, I guess, somewhat palatable. You know what I mean? So that's that. Thank you guys for watching. Have a phenomenal day. And let me know in the comments what you thought about this episode. And I will be back tomorrow for the Crown Jewel review. It's happening at 8 a.m. So I guess I'm going to be up in the morning. I'll probably get the review at some time in the afternoon tomorrow, early afternoon. And we'll talk about Crown Jewel, which is likely going to be an unmitigated PLE WWE 2025 disaster. 5 letters, 1 word, trash, 1 love.